So I came across a pretty interesting little op-ed. Someone talking about they're sorry that they got Ronald Reagan elected, and they recognize that the Ronald Reagan populism is what led to this current moment that we're living in today. Um, I'm just not sure that's even possible. Um, for one thing, yeah, I'm not even sure that's possible because for one thing, how can I say this the right way? When Ronald Reagan was elected, he was coming during an era where America was still respected. Remember, Iran-Contra happened during his reign. Yeah, you had the Vietnam War and all that, but a lot of that stuff was still secret. The Phoenix projects and all that stuff was still secret. People didn't know what they were doing. People didn't really know about all that stuff, and you didn't have like Facebook and Twitter where people could just look at stuff. Like I can put a video on here and it be all over the world. Someone in China can watch this. You had it back then. So news and stuff moves slower, and thus it's easier to conceal secrets, even crimes. I'm talking about crimes committed by government officials, government proxies. So when Ronald Reagan got in office, talking about America and all that, people really believed it. It really was like all the stuff Trump talks about, or he talked about, it was real then, and people believed in America. Trump's base is a base of people. This is the difference. Who mistrust the U.S. government because of government treachery. And a lot of it I can't argue with. And I really, when you look at it, you have to understand where their frustration and their suspicion comes from. You look at Gaddafi, the murder of Gaddafi, things of that nature. Those things actually happened. Those are things that actually took place. You know, we know that Hillary Clinton lied about Gaddafi was giving Viagra to his troops to kill, to rape women. It never happened. Complete lie. We have the Hillary emails that prove it. The Benghazi thing that happened. Even though Hillary Clinton went and sat in hearings for 11 hours. Don't forget that. Republicans never bring that about. That even though people claim she had all this stuff to do, she stood up and she faced her accusers. Trump did not do that. Trump has never done that. Trump hides behind people. He hides behind things. He uses people. So when you like I said, when you look at the U.S. government and the treachery of the U.S. government, that means that the current base for Trump is very different than Ronald Reagan. People don't understand that. They may have similar. He may use some of the same stuff Ronald Reagan said, but ain't the same. It's a different era now. People don't trust the government. Even folks who aren't really political don't trust the government. Even people who don't follow the news. I remember when the war in Iraq was going on and Fallujah happened. They lost 80 Marines in a week. And a guy asked me, are they going to start drafting people? He wasn't even political. He didn't watch the news, none of that shit. But he knew if things get bad, I might get drafted. That's the way it is. So people look at the government different now. There's a suspicion. There's I'm not going as far as this whole cannibal pedophile, adrenochrome, Pizzagate, that Obama was running I'm not even going to play that discussion. I'm not even going into that. But there's people who have a significant concern about the legitimacy of the government. And Supreme Court rulings recently don't help that. That's why I always say there's a fine bit of truth in much of what they say, but they twist it to make it to fit their own narrative. Uh, I don't think you could stop Ronald Reagan. I don't think you could stop him in that era. I think that the 80s was an era that he was kind of like ready. He's built for that era. Whereas in this era with climate change, there's too many people that know it's real. And much of what you see with the hearings with Trump is people who worked for him who are educated and have some sense, who recognize I'm not going to fall on my sword for Trump. I'm not going to present no lies for Trump. And a lot of the folks coming out and speaking out are people who are just uh, They know this is false. Whereas in the 80s, some of this stuff we didn't quite know. That's the difference. Thanks for listening.